Okay, so today we'll be doing page number 60 and 61, inshallah. Please open the page number for the structure of the leaf, chapter 6.3, which is leaves. So let's start with the verse from the Quran, which we did many times. So let's start with a dua, which is Rabbi zidni ilma, may Allah increase us in knowledge, inshallah. So the objective of the topic today would be to study the structure of the leaves, as to the detailed structure of the leaf, and also how these various cells and tissues they function in a leaf is what we are going to study today, inshallah. Under the KWL, let me ask you questions about the content we covered already. Yeah, so we were doing the structure of the leaf. We discussed this already. So can someone please tell me what are the physical parts of a leaf? Ladies, what are the parts of the leaves you see when you look at a leaf with your naked eye?
The tip, the midrib, margin, vein, petiole, and lamina.
Excellent. Thank you so much, sweeties. So when you said the midrib, what are the various veins which run as midrib and the veins?
The phloem and the xylem.
Very good. They are the vascular tissues, the xylem and the phloem. So we have the various functions as to why does the leaf have the following. Can someone read one by one? Why do the leaf have a large surface area? Why does the leaf have a large surface area?
To absorb as much light as possible.
Excellent. To absorb as much light as possible. Very good. And why does the leaf have a thin shape? Quickly, ladies. Why does the leaf have a thin shape? You have it written on the slide. You may just read it out.
So it's easier for gases to diffuse.
Very good. Excellent. And why do they have many chloroplasts? Ariba, can you please tell me? Why do they have chloroplasts? Ariba? Sidra, can you please tell me? Girls, I want you all to participate and answer to my questions when I'm asking you. Dana or Jonah, can you please tell me why do the leaves have many chloroplasts?
May I answer?
Yes, please.
So they can absorb light for photosynthesis to take place.
Very good. Because chloroplast is the plant organelle wherein the process of photosynthesis takes place. Thank you. And what is the purpose of the leaves? What do they do? The veins, I'm sorry. What do they do? The veins.
They support the leaf surface and carry water and ions to the leaf's cell.
And?
They also take sucrose and amino acid away from the leaf to other parts of the plant.
Thank you so much, sweetie. So these are the functions of the xylem and the phloem. The xylem, which takes the water and ions from the roots to the rest of the plant, whereas the phloem, it takes the sucrose and amino acids from the leaf to the various other parts of the plant. Thank you so much. So these are the various functions. So this is the inside of a leaf, and we were discussing about the various structures starting from the cuticle followed by the epidermis and what are the functions of each and every structure. I believe we discussed this as well. So what is the top and bottom layers of the leaf known as? What is the upper layer? What is the uppermost layer in the leaf?
Epidermis.
Epidermis. Above epidermis, do you see anything above the epidermis?
Cuticle.
Cuticle. What is the function of cuticle, sweetie, and what is it made up of?
It is made of a waxy substance, and it's stopped from evaporating.
Excellent. It stops water from evaporating because it is made up of a waxy substance. Excellent. Now, who's going to tell me about the epidermis, the upper and the lower epidermis? What is the function?
They protect the inner layers of the cells.
Excellent. And do they contain chloroplasts?
No.
Oh, no.
No, they don't contain chloroplasts. That is why they are not in green color. So they don't even photosynthesize. Their only function is to protect the inner layers of the leaf. Excellent. Now, who's going to tell me the function of the stomata and tell me where are they present?
A stomata is present in the lower epidermis.
And not present in the upper epidermis at all?
They are surrounded by guard cells which open and close.
Yes, very good. Excellent.
And they contain guard cells contain chloroplasts.
Yes, very good. They contain chloroplasts, so they are green in color and they can photosynthesize. And yes, the guard cells, they open and close with the help of which the stomata, they open and close according to the function which they are carrying out, whether it is day or night. Okay, thank you so much. And this is how the stomata functions. You can see the opening and closing of the guard cells in this particular movie here. Okay, so they are present in the lower epidermis as one of the girls just now told us. They are also present in the upper epidermis, but they are very few or not present at all. And what do they allow, the stomata? What is the function of the stomata?
They allow carbon dioxide to diffuse into the leaves to reach the photosynthetic tissues.
Excellent. And?
They also allow oxygen and water vapor to diffuse out.
Perfect. Excellent, sweetie. Thank you so much. Now, this is how the stomata, they look like on the surface of the epidermis, right? So as you can see, the stomata, can someone please explain the steps which take place in the opening and closing of the stomata, and why are they open only during the day and why are they closed during the night?
Stomata can be open and closed by guard cells, and they're usually open during the day.
Yes. Why?
Because water passes into the guard cells by osmosis.
And usually the process of photosynthesis takes place during the day. That is why they are open during the day, isn't it?
And may I?
Yes, please.
Shall I say at night, like the stomata at night? At night, the stomata closes because the water passes out of the guard cells by osmosis, and they straighten and move closer together, so they close the stomata's pores. The stomata also close in hot, dry weather to help prevent the plant wilting.
Excellent. Yes, thank you so much. They not only close during the night, but they also close during the day if the weather is very hot or dry in order to prevent the evaporation of water from these holes. Thank you so much, sweeties. That was very well explained. Now let's move on to the next slide. Okay. Now we were also discussing about the layers which are present between the upper and the lower epidermis, which are the mesophyll layers. Did we discuss about this already?
No, I can't see your screen. It is now black for me, pitch black.
Can others see it, ladies?
Yes.
Can you all see it? Let me stop and start presenting again. Give me a moment. Aris Fatima has written the various structures which are present inside the leaf. Yes, Vidi, very well done. And the stomata also close and hot dry butter. Yes, yes, thank you so much. All right, so let me stop sharing and start it again if there is a problem. Yeah, can you all see it now?
Yes, it is now visible.
All right, thank you so much. I want you all to watch a video as well on how the stomata work and on the structure of the leaf. Give me a moment. Do let me know if the audio is clear, sweeties.
So we know that plants make their own food through photosynthesis.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's watch.
But how does a plant get together the ingredients it needs for this? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water, and then combine those to create glucose and oxygen? Well, that's what leaves are for. A leaf is like a plant's food factory, and its parts work together to get the reactants into one place so that photosynthesis can happen. Let's start with sunlight. Have a look at a leaf. The top of it is exposed to the most light, so the cells specialized for trapping light are on top. These cells are called palisade mesophyll, and they're packed full of chlorophyll, the green chemical that plants use to absorb light. That's why the top side of the leaf is darker than the bottom side. You should also note that most leaves have a large surface area, so they can trap as much sunlight as possible. What else do we need for photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide. That's where the bottom of the leaf comes in. It's got these little pores called stomata, which open up so carbon dioxide can diffuse into the leaf. They're controlled by sausage-shaped guard cells, which open up to let carbon dioxide in, but they can also close the stomata to prevent other things like water from escaping. So the carbon dioxide comes in through the stomata, makes its way through the gaps in an airy layer of cells called the spongy mesophyll at the bottom part of the leaf, and then heads up to the palisade layer for photosynthesis. Leaves are thin so that the carbon dioxide won't have too far to travel. So we've got sunlight and carbon dioxide now. What's left? Water. Water comes up through the roots and stem and enters the leaf through a vascular bundle, which contains a hollow tube for water transport called the xylem. Look at how the vascular bundle spreads out in the leaf to form veins so that it can spread water throughout. So now the leaf's palisade cells have water, carbon dioxide, and sunlight. All they need to photosynthesize and make glucose, their food, and oxygen. But how does the leaf prevent unwanted intruders like bacteria from getting in and stop important reactants from escaping? Above the palisade mesophyll and below the spongy mesophyll are epidermis cells, which produce a waxy coating called the cuticle. The cuticle seals up the leaf so that the only way in and out is through the stomata, which are regulated by those guard cells. Now let's go back through the parts of a leaf, from top to bottom. We've got the thin waxy cuticle, then the epidermis cells. These basically make up the leaf's skin. Then comes the chlorophyll-rich palisade mesophyll, where the bulk of photosynthesis occurs. Below that's the spongy mesophyll, which have plenty of space in between them for reactants to move through. Through that space stretches the vascular bundle, with xylem to transport water, and phloem, which transports sugars after photosynthesis. And below that, we've got another layer of epidermis and cuticle. Spaced around the lower epidermis and the cuticle are the stomata, with guard cells on either side. Leaves come in all different shapes and sizes. Look at a cabbage leaf and an oak tree leaf. But most of them have these same parts in common, which allow them to get their reactants in and perform photosynthesis.
Okay, now that was a very interesting video about the structure of the leaf, isn't it? Who's going to tell me what you understood from the video, ladies? What did you understand?
I've learned the parts of the leaf that take part in photosynthesis, which are cuticle and epidermis. Palisade Mesophyll, Spongy Mesophyll, Vacuolar Brindle, and Stomata. And for photosynthesis to take place, we need light, water, carbon dioxide, light from the sun, water from the ground, and carbon dioxide from the air.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was very well explained. Thank you so much, sweetie. Now, someone else can someone else explain as to what happens in each and every layer, as explained in the video just now? What is the function of the palisade mesophyll layer? Yes, sweeties, who's going to tell me? What is the function of the palisade mesophyll layer?
It's the layer that has the chloroplast, and that's where the main photosynthesis happens.
Excellent.
With the water.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Yes. So this layer which you see right beneath the epidermis, it is the palisade mesophyll layer, which consists of elongated cells, and they also contain hundreds and thousands of chloroplasts in them, because it is the main layer in which the process of photosynthesis takes place. And beneath that, you will see the spongy mesophyll layer, which has gaps in between. Okay, and through these gaps are the vascular bundles running, the xylem and the phloem, which help in the transport of the various materials, as we discussed already. And beneath that, there is the lower epidermis, which contains the holes or the openings known as the stomata, about which we discussed already. All right, so these are the various layers which are present between the upper and the lower epidermis, which is the middle layer of the leaf, called the mesophyll. Meso means middle and phill meaning the leaf. So this is the mesophyll layer. This entire layer extending from the upper epidermis till the lower epidermis is known as the mesophyll layer. The mesophyll layer is again divided into the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll, as you can see in this picture here. Okay, the cells which are nearer to the top of the leaf are arranged like a fence or a palisade, and that is why the term palisade layer has been given to them. And this tissue is made up of elongated cells, each containing hundreds of chloroplasts, and it is the main site of photosynthesis. So the palisade cells are close to the source of light, and the upper epidermis is relatively transparent, allowing the light to pass through to the enormous number of chloroplasts which lie below, as you can see in this picture. Okay, can you see these number of chloroplasts here? And this is the layer which is very nearer to the upper epidermis, which is also transparent, so that the exchange of the gases can happen easily, and also the light can be absorbed efficiently by the chlorophyll present in the chloroplast. Now beneath that, the cells beneath them are rounder and arranged quite closely with large air spaces between them, and this is the spongy layer of the mesophyll, spongy mesophyll layer. You can also see the xylem and the phloem here. These are the two vascular bundles, as we discussed. They run through the leaf and also through the length of the entire plant, and they have the specific functions to carry. Now, what is this? What is the function of xylem, ladies? Who's going to tell me?
They transport water. They transport water to other parts of the plant.
From where? From where do they transport? From where does the plant get water?
Oh, from the roots.
From the roots, excellent. And what is the function of the phloem now?
They carry away sucrose that the leaf has made.
Yes, very good. So the byproducts after the process of photosynthesis, the byproducts which are made like the sucrose and the oxygen and the water vapor, out of which the oxygen is diffused into the atmosphere, and the water vapor and the sucrose, it is transported through the phloem to the other parts of the plant. Yeah, so you can see in this picture, running through the mesophyll are veins or vascular bundles, which are the xylem and the phloem. Now, each vein contains large, thick-walled xylem vessels for carrying the water and the mineral ions. And there are also small, thin-walled phloem tubes for carrying away the sucrose and other substances that the leaf has made after the process of photosynthesis. So, can you see these? This These are the xylem vessels, which are thick-walled, carrying the water and the mineral ions. And these are the phloem vessels, which are the thin tubes, which carry the sucrose and water vapor from the leaves to the rest of the plant. Can you see it clearly, ladies? So this is how the xylem and the phloem, the vascular bundles, they are present in the stem, also the leaves, so they run the entire length of the plant. Both the xylem and the phloem are present like this. Clear, ladies? Any questions? Is it clear?
Teacher?
Yes, sweetie.
What is the function of spongy mesophyll?
Let me take you here. All right. So these spongy mesophyll, they also contain the cells, and the gaps in between here are for the exchange of the gases, which are coming through the stoma, and also for the exchange of the mineral ions, allowing the xylem and the phloem to run through these. Apart from that, they also contain the chloroplast, as you can see. So a little amount of photosynthesis also takes place in the cells of the spongy mesophyll. Okay, not as much as it takes place in the palisade mesophyll, but also these rounded cells which are present in the spongy mesophyll, they help in the process of photosynthesis to some extent. And they also allow the spaces present between these round cells, they allow for the easy transport of water and the easy exchange of the gases through the openings of the stomata like this. Okay, sweetie?
Yes, thank you.
You're most welcome. All right, so this is about the spongy mesophyll. Now let's move on. These are about the functions of the xylem and the phloem. Now here is the detailed description about each and every layer and about the function. Can someone read out the waxy cuticle first?
May I?
Yes, please.
Waxy cuticle reduces water loss. It is thicker on the upper surface since this surface is usually more exposed to the warming rays of sunlight.
Excellent. Followed by?
Upper epidermis, a complete covering which is usually one cell thick. It is transparent to allow the free passage of light and has the major function of preventing the entry of disease-causing organisms such as bacteria and fungi.
Very good. Next.
Palisade mesophyll, tall thin cells arranged in columns and separated by very narrow air spaces. Cells contain many chloroplasts, and the dense packing of these cells allow the absorption of the maximum amount of light energy.
Excellent. Then can you read about the veins?
Vein. The transparent system in and out of the leaf. The xylem vessel deliver water and mineral salt, and the phloem sieve tubes carry away the organic products of photosynthesis such as glucose.
Very good. Now finally the spongy mesophyll.
Spongy mesophyll. These cells are rather loosely packed and are covered with a thin layer of water. The air spaces between them aid the diffusion of gases through the leaf. The air spaces are saturated with water vapor, so water diffuses out of the cell.
Excellent. Thank you so much, sweetie. Is it clear, ladies, about the function of each and every layer and also how they are placed one after the other in the structure of a leaf? Is it clear? Any questions so far?
No, thank you. All clear.
Thank you so much. Shall we move on then?
Yes.
Yeah. Can someone else also explain about the stomata and how do they function, as we discussed already? It is a summary again, clearly with the picture as to how the gut cells open and close. Can someone please read out this?
Stomata. These minute pores allow the entry of carbon dioxide and the exit of oxygen. They are mainly present in the lower epidermis. The surface is less exposed to the sun's radiation, so that evaporation of water is kept to a minimum. The stomata can be closed when no carbon dioxide intake is needed, in the dark. For example, when a plant is short of water, the guard cells become flaccid, closing the stomata. When a plant has plenty of water, the guard cells become turgid, The cell wall on the inner surface is very thick, so it cannot stretch as the outer surface. So the guard cells swell up. They curve away from each other, opening the stomata.
Okay, thank you so much, sweetie. So this is how the closing and the opening of the stomata take place, as you can see in this picture. So when the stomata are closed, the guard cells, they are flaccid, as you can see in this picture, and they come close to each other, closing the opening, not allowing the water to evaporate and not allowing the gases to diffuse anymore. Usually they close during the night, and also when the climate during the day is very, very dry and hot. Okay, and these on the right side you can see are the guard cells open, allowing an opening in between, oval shaped opening, allowing for the exchange of gases and also for the absorption of the sunlight to some extent. Okay, this happens when the guard cells, they are turgid. When the plant has plenty of water, the guard cells, they become turgid like this, and the cell wall on the inner surface is very thick, so it cannot stretch as much as the outer surface. So the guard cells swell up and they curve, allowing an opening so that the stomata can allow the exchange of the gases. Okay, ladies, so this is how the guard cells open and they close. You can see in these pictures. So how are the guard cells when the stomata are open, allowing it to open? How do you explain? How are the cells, the guard cells, when the stomata are open? How do you explain the structure of the guard cells? How are they?
They become turgid.
Yes. How?
Because the plant has plenty of water.
Water. Excellent. And how are they when the stomata are closed?
They are flaccid.
Excellent. So when a plant is short of water, the guard cells, they become flaccid, closing the stomata. Similarly, when the stomata are open, the guard cells, they are turgid. Clear about the stomata, the opening and closing, ladies? Any questions?
No, thank you. All clear.
All clear? All right. Thank you so much. Let's move on. Okay, so this is how the gas exchange in plants takes place. Okay, so you can see again the structure of a leaf like this with the epidermis, the palisade mesophyll, the spongy mesophyll, and the stomata and the openings which you can see in the lower epidermis. Here you can see the veins, which are the xylem and the phloem, which run through the spongy mesophyll. Okay, so the structure of the leaf is adapted for gas exchange, isn't it? That is why it is thin, so that it can allow maximum diffusion or exchange of the gases. So the cells in the spongy mesophyll, which is the lower layer, are loosely packed and they are covered by a thin film of water. Okay, so you can see not only are they round in shape, they are loosely packed, allowing the exchange of the gases as well as the water. And also they are lined by a thin film of water. Okay, so these large spaces, what do? They allow these layers to help the carbon dioxide move around the leaf. So allowing the diffusion of the gases easily, there are gaps or spaces between the spongy mesophyll. And it also allows the plant to bend and move in the wind, which itself helps move gases around the leaf cells. Okay, so because of the loose arrangement of the mesophyll cells in the spongy mesophyll layer, the plant can bend and move according to the wind. You must have seen when the wind blows, the leaves are moving along with the wind. This also helps in the easy exchange of the gases, for the easy movement of the gases in and out of the leaves. Okay, ladies, so this is how you can see the exchange of gases takes place. The carbon dioxide is taken in for the process of photosynthesis to take place, and after the process of photosynthesis, the oxygen which is produced as a byproduct, it is diffused out. Okay, so this is what is explained in this picture. Again, you can see the opening and closing of the stomata. So you can see how much it is emphasized about the opening and closing of the stomata, because this is very, very important. The structure of a leaf, it is very, very important for you, because if it is clear for you in grade 9, you will again come across this particular topic in your higher grades in 10 and 11. So it is very important for you to Also, we have once again a summarizing about the function of the stomata. Can someone please read out the stomata's function from this slide here?
May I?
Yes, please.
The stomata control gas exchange in the leaf. The gases diffuse into the intercellular space of the leaf through stomata. During the day, photosynthesis can be going 10 or even 20 times faster than respiration, depending on light intensity. So the stomata must stay open so that the plant has enough carbon dioxide, most of which diffuses in from the external atmosphere.
Thank you so much, sweetie. So as we discussed already, the stomata are open during the day, allowing the maximum photosynthesis to take place. Yeah, because during the day, depending upon the intensity of the sunlight, the photosynthesis can be very, very fast, 10 or even 20 times more faster, isn't it? So allowing for the diffusion of the gases, for the diffusion of the carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis process to take place, you can see this is how the stomata are open. This is the microscopic structure of the stomata, and this is how the inside of the stomata looks like with the guard cells open like this, allowing the space in between. Okay, and this is how the stomata look like when they are closed. Okay, so you can see the guard cells closing like this and closing the airspace altogether. Okay, ladies. So this is about how the exchange of gases takes place. So any questions so far, ladies, about the structure of the leaf or as to how the exchange of the gases takes place? All clear?
Yes, all clear. Thank you.
No questions?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Let me quickly summarize as to what we studied today. We studied about the entire structure of the leaf, which is the cuticle, followed by the upper epidermis, followed by the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll, and finally the lower epidermis. You can see the stomata are the openings which are present in the lower epidermis, which allow for the exchange of the gases. And you can also see these veins, which are the vascular bundles, xylem and phloem, which run through the leaf in the spongy mesophyll. And we also studied about the function of each and every layer and also the veins, the xylem and the phloem. The xylem, it helps in the transport of the mineral ions and water from the roots to the rest of the plant, whereas the phloem, it carries the sucrose and the other materials made by the photosynthesis to the rest of the plant. Here we studied about the function of each and every layer, starting from the waxy cuticle, whose function is protection and also the in order to avoid the absorption of the water vapor, followed by the upper epidermis, which is a protective layer which helps in protection of the inner layers of the leaf. It also has a function which is preventing the plant from the entry of the disease-causing microorganisms like the bacteria and the fungi. It is followed by the palisade mesophyll, which contains many chloroplasts in it, because this is the layer in which the entire process of photosynthesis takes place. And it also allows the absorption of the maximum amount of light energy, because it is just beneath the upper epidermis, which is also transparent. Now we have the function of the veins over here, as we discussed already, followed by the spongy mesophyll. It is the same place, the spongy mesophyll, through which the veins also run through. The spongy mesophyll cells are rather loosely packed and they are covered by a thin layer of water. And the air spaces between them are to aid the diffusion of the gases through the leaf. And the air spaces are saturated with water vapor, so water diffuses out of the leaf. And we discuss in detail as to how the opening and the closing of the stomata takes place, and when do they open and when do they close, and how do they allow the diffusion of the gases, right? And this is how the gas exchange in plants takes place. All clear, ladies? Any questions?
All clear.
Okay, thank you. Now let's move on to the last topic, which is the plants and the minerals. As to why do the plant needs minerals? How many more? Okay, that's it. We have these 4 slides and then we are done with this topic, inshallah. Okay, so the plants, they need a source of nitrate ions for making the amino acids, isn't it? We discussed already. And from where does the plant get these nitrate ions, ladies? From where do they get it?
Pardon?
From where does the plant get the nitrate ions?
They are absorbed from the soil.
From the soil, from the roots by the process of? Is it osmosis, diffusion, or active transport? We studied this in our chapter 3, the movement in and out of the cells. So by which process are the nitrate ions absorbed by the roots from the soil? Ladies, you forgot already? By the process of active transport, isn't it? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by active transport, which is against the concentration gradient, the nitrate ions, they are absorbed from the soil into the root hair cells. Remember? Yes, so why are these nitrate ions important to the plant? Because plants, they need these nitrate ions in order to make amino acids. So when these nitrate ions, they come into contact with the glucose, which is made by the plant, they form the proteins. This is how the protein synthesis takes place in the plants. We also discussed about this when we were discussing about the functions of the glucose as to how it is used by the plant, isn't it? So amino acids are important because they are joined together to make proteins needed to form the enzymes and the cytoplasm of the cell. Exactly as we need the proteins, even the plants, they need proteins for various functions in the plant in order to make enzymes, the cytoplasm, and various other functions in a plant. Is the time up, ladies? Yes, it is 12:10, so I already summarized as to what we studied. Inshallah, we will study about the plant and minerals in our next class. So any questions from any of the contents we covered today?
No, thank you. All clear.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. The homework is I want you to complete the chapter 6.3 questions. Okay, so which are on page number 62. I want you all to complete these questions for chapter 6.3. I will also post the homework on the group, or any one of you can do that. All right? Any questions? All clear?
All clear.
All right. I'm downloading the attendance then.